In the Oval Office of the White House, where President Donald Trump and European leaders held a meeting on Monday, a map was visible. This showed the territory of Ukraine, but with red shading in the eastern part of the country, which coincides with the part that Russia has occupied since its invasion, as if to emphasize that point for the talks. "I guess everyone has seen the map," Trump told Fox News on Tuesday. "A big chunk of Ukrainian territory is taken." The White House's message to Ukraine is unequivocal. That territory is no longer under Ukraine's control, and it's time to consider a territorial settlement with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's team, who was a central figure in the White House meeting, had brought their own map to the meeting. The Ukrainian leader later said he had been disputing what's on that map during his conversation with Trump, regarding who controls what. "Not just hearsay, but reality," the Ukrainian president said. The Oval Office map included areas of Ukraine under Russian occupation. Although the president claimed he had made some progress in correcting any false impressions, Trump's opinion remained unchanged on Tuesday. "It was clear," the American leader said, "that Russia's power is clearly much more powerful and has not retreated." Asked about the reaction in the Oval Office with European leaders regarding a possible territory swap, Trump said, "Now they're talking about the Donbas. But the Donbas right now is 79% dominated and controlled by Russia." Before the war in eastern Ukraine began in 2014, the mineral-rich Donbas region accounted for about 16% of Ukraine's economic output. Putin has reportedly told Trump he wants the entire region as part of a comprehensive peace agreement. This would undoubtedly save the Russian leader considerable casualties and resources. Zelensky said they had also discussed the percentages on the White House map showing Russian control in several Ukrainian regions. 99% of Luhansk and 76% of Donetsk in the Donbas, 73% of Zaporizhia and Kherson in the southeast, 4% of Kharkiv in the northeast, and 1% of Sumy and Mykolaiv. Analysis of the latest data from the US-based Institute of Warfare, ISW, has produced figures similar to those of the White House, and any differences could be due to the different methodology used, especially regarding the extent of Russian control over an area. Part of it could be under limited control or simply claimed by Moscow. In regions where the White House suggests 1% of an area is under Russian control, that may reflect only a limited Russian presence, as in Mykolaiv in the south, or where they have been largely repelled, as in Sumy in the north. Whatever the true extent of Russian control in Donetsk, the fortress cities of Kramatorsk and neighboring Sloviansk in the Donetsk region still contain large populations. Local officials say some 242,000 people live in the Ukrainian-controlled areas of the Donetsk region, and that no Ukrainian head of state would consider handing over their territory to Moscow. Although Russian forces have made progress in recent months, ISW estimates that taking the rest of the Donetsk region would most likely take Russian forces several years to complete after several difficult campaigns. Zelensky said the map of Ukraine he had shown Trump indicated that over the past 1,000 days, Russia had managed to occupy less than 1% of Ukrainian territory. Analysts at the Ukrainian mapping group Deep State UA said that translated to 5,842 square kilometers as of November 2022. While Russia achieved operational success during the early days of the full-scale invasion, Deep State notes that a large proportion of the occupied territory was subsequently liberated. However, Russia has made undeniable progress in the last 2 or 3 months, although more generally the front line has moved little since the first months of the war. Ukraine's poor position. Defense analyst Konrad Mazyka, who heads Rokhan Consulting, says the Russian advance has clearly accelerated in some areas in the east, around Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region and Kreminna in Luhansk. "We're seeing a lot more fires, and the Ukrainians aren't really able to deploy enough firefighters to put them out," he told the BBC. Mazyka cites Ukraine's lack of manpower to defend a long front line, but also Russia's increasing use of drones targeting soldiers, their equipment, and, in particular, their artillery. Meanwhile, Russia has been able to recruit between 30,000 and 35,000 soldiers, and even with the heavy losses they have suffered on the ground, they have been able to build up large operational and strategic reserve forces, he explains. But Russia's rapid advances in limited areas of the east have so far been unparalleled elsewhere. Last week, Ukrainian forces successfully repelled a Russian advance attempt, which advanced 10 to 15 kilometers into Ukrainian-controlled territory near Dobropilya in the Donetsk region, according to Ukrainian military leaders. And although Russia controls some regions of Sumy and Kharkiv, Ukraine still controls about 6,600 square kilometers of Donbas. Putin has not only obtained large swathes of Ukraine, but has already annexed 4 regions, in addition to Crimea, although many areas are beyond his reach. The UK's Defence Intelligence Service recently estimated that, based solely on Russia's incremental battlefield gains so far in 2025, it would take an additional 4.4 years just to retake the 4 regions of Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. That alone explains the different perspectives of Trump and Zelensky when it comes to maps showing the 1,200 kilometers front line in Ukraine. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.